What is up, y'all? Everybody's favorite angry
What's
American.
happening?
What's that? Yeah. And as always, we've got the illustrious T with Mountain Readiness. We've got Emery with Prime Combat Training and Tactical Rifleman. We do not have Sue LaRue tonight, guys. Sue's down right now. He's not doing so hot, and so keep him in your thoughts. You know, he's too mean to kill, so he's going to come out all right. But he's just some positive thoughts. And guys, we got my good buddy on tonight, Walt Browning from the Charlie's Requiem series. So this is like the first time we've done one of these in a very long time, man.
Yeah, long time.
It's been a long time.
Be desperate.
No, it needed to happen. Because see, Emery's reading through my series. He hasn't read yours yet. And T, I don't know if you've read those yet either, have you?
I have not yet. I did, however, start your series. I did start it. Finally, it only took me, I don't know, a long time.
Well, it only took Mel 6 years to read one of them. It took her 6 years to pick up the first one and read it. And
I tell you what, I've known you for a minute, and I've wanted to read your books for a minute. The first book I read, like physically read, which I prefer, but I'm in the truck so much. But I started reading them recently, and I'm on book 10. I'm halfway through book 10. So
there you go.
Nice.
Yeah,
almost there.
Yeah, me and Walt have a common buddy down here. He's a good friend of ours. He's a hell of a guy, and we were in a class together on my property. I had an instructor down here. And somebody was talking to him, and they're like, "Oh, if you've known Chris that long," he was like, "You must have read all his books." And I was off to the side doing something else, and I was like, "Hell no, he hasn't." I'm like, "He can't even fucking read. He ain't read none of my books." Been a friend of mine for over a decade, and he ain't read nothing I've ever written.
That's like we've been buddies for a while, and he won't come train with us.
Oh, dude, whatever. Don't even try. I have, and I will. You know that.
No, I was saying T.
T. Yeah. Yeah, T. Yeah, he won't come train.
Yeah.
Training. I'm coming September.
I think T's afraid.
September. I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
That's a done deal. You didn't save my spot, right?
He's coming to 5 days in a row.
You saved my spot, right? Save my spot?
Yeah, right here.
Right? Oh, I mean, I take it how I can get it.
Hey, $20 is $20, man.
So, dude, if anybody here wants to come shoot with us, I'll look up the dates in a minute. T is coming to a tactical rifleman class coming up here in.
It is 12th, 13th, 14th, I think. So I know it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
I'm probably going to be in Wyoming. I'm not going to.
We have our usual combat pistol 101. That's like our second,
that's a great class.
It's essentially a pre-deployment, a 5-day pre-deployment package.
Yep.
Compressed into 1 day. And then we have combat pistol carbine, 2 days. And then after that, right away is advanced pistol carbine.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That'd be a lot of fun.
And for all of you that want to join us, it's 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, and 17th.
Now, you don't have to do the whole thing.
Days. No.
Do day one,
if you're a sissy,
day 1, 2, 3, or the mixture.
Yeah, if you're a sissy, you just want to do 1 day. You just want to do the 13th and just do pistol. That's it.
Is this up at Montgomery? You guys doing it at Montgomery, Emery?
Yeah. It'll be warm.
Let me tell you what. I mean, it's probably not the hottest place on earth, but it's damn close to. That place is so fucking hot there, man. At that range, you do a 5-day. By the 5th day of being out there on that range, dude, you're.
I don't want to shoot anymore.
Oh yeah! Oh my God, no! I remember the 5th day we're doing the 5 and out thing. We're doing that walk back, and I'm at like 80 meters with Carl, and I'm just shaking there's no way I'm gonna really hit that plate. Just dehydrated and sore. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. I think you were there in August, and this is going to be a few weeks later in September. So hopefully, maybe slightly better weather.
Dude, it was miserable.
I got my air conditioner on though. I'm good. It dropped me 15 degrees right there.
Walt, we should get you up to a tactical rifleman class. You dig it because Walt trains too, guys. He goes out and trains a lot.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
So
this is up in Kentucky, right?
What's that?
In Kentucky, right?
Yeah.
This is Tennessee. It's right on the border. Yeah. It's right outside of Clarksville, Tennessee.
Yep. Right outside Clarksville. And they got a campground there too. You can take the motorhome.
Yep, right in the middle of the range.
Go.
Yep. That's what I did. I took my camper. I stayed on the property when we went and did it. So
yep.
Yeah, but, I'll be at the Holiday Inn.
True glamping.
T's got an aversion to camping. He's got PTSD. but me and Jay have
some sore memories.
Me and Walt have an announcement for you guys tonight that there's been a lot of questions, to both of us about crossing over and how that's going to happen. And I got to say, Walt came up with a brilliant idea on how we're going to do this for you guys. And some of you are going to love it, some of you are going to hate it. So I'm going to let him tell you the details of how this is going to happen.
I get the incoming. All right.
Not the storyline how, but how they're going to be able to get it.
Oh yeah. All right.
That side.
All right.
That side. We're not going to tell them how that's going to happen. They don't get no information on that whatsoever.
It's on me. We've been very blessed with our Audible people, and we try to direct people towards the Audible because number one, it's a great experience. The Duke is an amazing narrator.
And we're going to have him on here soon.
Awesome. Yeah,
we're going to have him on.
We're going to be merging some of the characters, Charlie and some of the folks up in Eustis. But we've also got an idea of doing a couple of chapters that will only be audible. It won't affect the storyline per se, but there's going to be a mission involved with both groups, and that's a good way to integrate the thing. And also, if you haven't tried the Audible, it might be worth your while to get the Audible just to have a little bit extra. A little extra swag coming at you. So
it'll be like an author's cut kind of a thing, like an author's cut sort of edition.
Correct.
So
correct.
I just thought that was a great idea. He suggested it.
Charlie and one of the characters, but that's all. We'll leave it at that.
So here's a question: is the correct way to go through these books then to read them one from each section? Well, like one from each?
No, they're not linear. Time-wise, they're not necessarily linear with each other. They start on the same day.
It's way too complicated for me.
They start on the same day, but I've got more books in covering the time that he covers, and fewer books is all.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, I always wait for Chris to finish his book, and he'll get one or two books ahead, and then I will integrate.
He's saying that so he can blame me for not getting his books out in a timely manner.
That's right. Forget that I was doing other books, but on me, it was his fault. I usually wait to see what he comes up with, and then any of the larger events that, like the nuclear situation in Tampa, I'll integrate that into my book, and it'll be coming from a different frame of reference, and I make sure that I follow his timeline. Which, since Chris usually doesn't know what the hell he's going to do for the next book, I have to wait till he finishes. So that's pretty much accurate. And we're at a point now where we're going to be merging things and at least having some crossover.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, what other projects are you working on?
Well, I got hired by a small publishing company to do a zombie series based off of another best-selling series. And that did really well, and that ate up 2 years of my time. And so my Charlie series died off after book 4. I wrote the zombie series called Extinction Survival, and then I finished that. COVID was happening. I have a healthcare office. I'm taking care of my people. Kind of didn't write for about a year, and then I picked Charlie back up, and just the last book came out back in June. And I'll be done with this next book, going to Audible probably by the end of October. So hopefully we'll have this next book, the 6th book, out by the end of the year.
Nice.
There we go.
Yeah, it's all good.
I'm going to try to not wait until you're at book 11 to read yours.
Oh no, I will throw some shade out there. This may be the last book in the series. It's going to have a conclusion that will enable me to go further if I need to, but this is sort of the end of the line as far as I can see. I have another book line in mind that's going to be similar to a survival series, but it's going to involve AI and an AI attack, cyber attack that pretty much wipes out anything technologic in the country. And so it's a similar situation, only you have a computer hack instead of an EMP. So that's in the back of my brain, and a lot of things are percolating about that. So I'm probably going to finish up Charlie at this book, possibly one more, but I've got this other series in mind that's going to be very similar and surviving that kind of a situation.
I like it.
Because
I forgot.
And it is scary as you cannot believe.
Oh hell yeah! Well, I got we're gonna talk because I got something I'm gonna be doing too. It's not with AI, but it's sort of. But the AI is not the point of it. But
yeah,
I forgot to tell everybody we do tonight's giveaway is hashtag Charlie's Requiem, and you're gonna get a signed copy of Contagion that Walt and I both signed, and I got yeah. So hashtag Charlie's Requiem. Sorry, I'm thinking of two different things at the same time. Put you in the drawing, and we'll do that here in a little while.
Yeah.
So, and now we're also going to take a quick second to run a shameless plug. Huh?
I'll get that up too. By the way, that Extinction Survival Series book, I bundled that and put it on Audible. Went number 1, beating out Stephen King.
Really?
So yes,
Really?
For a while. I threw shade at him on Twitter. I said, "Hey, suck on it, Stephen," and I put a picture up of number 1.
That guy doesn't know what he's doing anyway.
Oh,
weirdo.
Yeah, it felt good. It felt good.
Awesome.
Very good.
I'm going to run one of our little shameless plugs here, guys. We'll be right back.
Let's talk food storage real quick. Now, I know you guys have seen this stuff in other places, but I actually ordered this. They didn't give it to me, and I was a customer before I became an affiliate with them. This stuff's fantastic. First, it tastes really good. Brick House Field of Greens, and I really like the berry. This is actually my favorite, the berry flavor one. With this, you get to replace all the vitamins and minerals that are lost through the preservation process. So you want to find a way to supplement that. 1 scoop of Brick House Field of Greens is your daily serving of fruits and vegetables. Cool thing about the Brick House Field of Greens like these, and they have other products too, but this will fit right in the rucksack. 1 scoop out of this mixed in a glass of water is your daily serving of fruits and vegetables. These things are chock full of superfoods. And this is not a supplement. Brick House is food. Check out Brick House at the link below, guys. Buy some, give it a shot. I'm a fan. I use it. I think you guys could too.
There we go. Thank God that ended. I hate hearing that, dude.
You look good.
Can't stand watching that.
Isn't it horrible hearing your own voice?
Yeah, it's so bad. I can't do it. I don't like to see a video of myself. I don't want to hear a recording of myself or anything anywhere. I don't want nothing to do with it.
Exactly.
So
especially when you make videos and you have to go over and over and over and over. And I can't hear that cough anymore. Why am I saying so much?
Yeah, you hate yourself by the time it's over. You're like, man, I'm a moron. I said one more time. I'm going to cut my own throat. Oh my God. So I'm gonna throw this out there for all of us because we kind of started it right before the show, but I was wanting to save it for this. But about the personal aircraft crashing in Russia today. Private planes being shot out of the sky by Russian air defense, from what it sounded like, and it conveniently having the brass of Wagner on board. So Prigozhin and Udin are both, I guess, no longer with us.
It was coming. It was coming.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, Putin didn't exactly hide that he was going to have him killed. He wasn't necessarily overt. But there were some other people high up in the Russian defense industry, or defense ministry, I should say, who were calling it, and they said, "Oh, well, the FSB is in charge of the Prigozhin thing now." And
well, I think Putin, he pretty much laid it out there, because at one point they asked him a question, and he said, "I can forgive many things, but I cannot forgive betrayal." And I was just like, "Oh, Prigozhin, you're done. You are done."
Honestly, I'll tell you this: when in real time when that stuff was happening with the Wagner Group going back into Russia and up towards Moscow, my initial thought for the first couple days was, I'm calling bullshit. This is a very smart move. Very smart move. I'm calling bullshit. I'm wrong. Turns out I'm wrong.
I don't know.
You know,
I was go ahead.
I was going to say, I got a question for you guys. You know, the Wagner Group did a lot of the heavy lifting in the invasion, and now that's out of the picture. How does that play as far as Russia pushing further into Ukraine? Or are they just going to? I don't know that they have the meat to, or the brain power to even do that, because if it wasn't for Bogosian, they wouldn't have gotten halfway to where they are now. Does this mean that the Russians aren't going to be pushing into Ukraine now, or what do you guys think?
I don't think that's what it is. I think if you look at it, the Wagner Group has done so much of the fighting and so much of the quality fighting, right? Taking over big places and stuff that the Russian army, at least on the conscript end, wasn't really prepped for. And the thing is, the Wagner group has lost a lot of dudes, right?
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of the dudes that they got even later on when people started dying and they got, the guys out of the prisons and that kind of thing, a lot of those guys are dead.
Most of those guys are dead.
A lot of their very quality fighting force is out of the game. Some of their armament is out of the game, right? And I think that, first of all, not everything we hear here is correct about what's going on over there. I think it's, if you believe our stuff and don't think that there's propaganda in there, go look at any other war and what news was broadcasted to the people of that respective country. And most of the time you don't get honesty.
Nope.
So, here
it's like
we
Ukraine. Ukraine has never released casualty figures. Ever.
Exactly.
Everybody talks about the number of Russian casualties, but Ukraine has never released figures. So that right there tells you they're hiding something. So,
yeah. And that is not a dishonest thing, right? Wars.
I'm not saying it is. Yeah.
Cheating. Yeah. So, I think Putin is much smarter. The other thing is, Putin is there's kind of a rough, right? There's like a border where when he crosses it, a lot more players have to get involved, right? And so he's got to really strategize this whole thing, and he can't just all out. Don't forget, for all the people here in America that say we should not be involved in this war, right? And technically we're not in terms of boots on the ground. We are not fighting the war, right? We're facilitating, tools, weapons, whatever. But don't forget, we owe this to Ukraine. Why do we owe this to Ukraine? We owe a lot more than this to Ukraine because they disarmed themselves of the nukes after the USSR fell apart. And what exactly was the exact piece that made them agree to that agreement?
It was affected in the event they were invaded by Russia.
Exactly. It's America guaranteeing that if they are invaded by Russia, we're going to jump in and throw some American soldiers at it. Well, we didn't do it in 2014. And if you think about 2014, that's where a lot of this mess started, not just with Russia and Ukraine. I'm talking a lot of the mess that we're seeing today. 2014's one of the more crucial time frames, because if you look at what Putin, for example, was doing against Obama, their little pee-pee touch in Syria, right? Where, red line in the sand, Putin and Assad crosses it. Red line in the sand, don't do it again. I'm Obama, I'm America, right? And so he did it over and over and over. Well, what ended up happening? Putin got the big balls out of that America-Syria thing, because Putin sent over, if you remember, one naval intelligence ship that allegedly had no armament, and Obama turned around the entire fleet that was on the way to the Middle East, right? And that was the moment, that was a defining moment, I think, of when Putin was like, you know what? I got all these bastards. That's it. I'm on top. And ever since then, he's had the biggest balls in the room, always.
Well, this is true. I think part of it is, Putin didn't need him anymore. But I think part of it too is the personal side of, that the fact that he would dare raise a hand. So, Yeah, I knew Putin was going to take him out, but what a lot of people don't understand is how much stuff Prigozhin owns: mines in Africa and just heaps of shit, airplanes, all kinds of stuff. The guy's, I mean, I don't know if he's in the billions or not, but I mean, he's got a lot of money, and I think that's always part of the play when you're talking about Russians offing each other, is someone's looting the coffers already, or that was prearranged, to make it even happen. So,
by the way,
one of those submarine going down things.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget that
maybe
that Wagner Group has been working in Africa for decades, and they have swaths there that they've been playing around in, roaming freely for a long time. And don't forget also that they had a little tiff with some U.S. soldiers a little while back, and they got annihilated.
Yeah. There was there's 500, I think that column was 500 Wagner that mistakenly thought they were going to move in where we had a small Green Beret detachment out there in the middle of the desert. I read some of the radio transmissions. The traffic was sitting back and forth during that because in the first moments of it, they didn't realize who was shooting at them. And as soon as they figured out who was shooting at them, they were terrified. They were the radio traffic. Some of it was hilarious, because they couldn't run far enough, fast enough. They got their asses smoked. Because they called the Americans called the deconfliction line. They called Russia and said, "Hey, do you have a force operating in this area?" And the Russians said no. And the Americans are like, weapons free,
Exactly. Well, that's the benefit of using a private army, right?
Exactly.
The only country that's actually severely botched running private armies in a war zone is us, America, right? With all the Blackwater crap and Iraq and all those things, we screwed the pooch on that one.
Yeah.
Our man Sue LaRue is in the house, it appears now.
There he is.
Ooh.
There he is.
There he is. What's up, brother?
You just can't keep him down. Can't keep him down.
Yeah. Although we try.
Walt, you got any travel coming up anytime soon?
Again, didn't catch that.
You got any travel coming up anytime soon?
Oh yeah, heading back to North Carolina. Gonna do that a few times.
We're gonna probably go to Wyoming here in the next 2 weeks or so. Because I got a book that I started writing out there called Western Resolve, and I'm gonna finish it now. So I think I'm gonna go out there and spend a few weeks and finish that book and get that wrapped up, and then
nice.
Be back in time for mountain readiness. So yeah, that gives me a reason to go out there too. We're gonna take some time, go up to Lake Glacier National, go to Devil's Tower. I want to go to Cody and Buffalo, go down to Thermopolis, sit in hot springs.
I don't know if I'd be okay with living there, but I will say that whole area was a great vacation. We spent a little bit of time up there. I am still being irritated by Emory. Yes, there we go.
Doing my job.
Mission accomplished.
Wow.
I have lived there. I've lived there 2 times, but and I like it there, but I can't call that permanently home because I know that volcano is there, man. I mean,
well, there's that.
And if you lived there and it went off, you'd never know. I mean,
you wouldn't know.
You might be like, oh, and that's gonna be it for you. But
I'll tell you,
get a little.
That's the region I call home. It's not where I'm living now, right? But the Rockies, and to me, the Rockies, especially the Northern Rockies, are the most beautiful piece of land on this planet. Living in, and I got to live up in Montana, raising goats up in the middle of nowhere, homesteading, and minus 40 in the winter, and you got to work outside, and you work outside for half an hour, and then warm up for an hour, and outside for half hour. It's rough.
Yeah,
but nature makes you live by its rules, and once you kind of adapt yourself to it, as opposed to what most humans try to do now, which is adapt our world to our needs. It's actually a beautiful, peaceful thing, right? Because the seasons tell you what to do. They tell you when to work your ass off, and then they tell you when to just sit down and chill.
Oh yeah, if you listen, it dictates what you're supposed to be doing. There's no doubt. when you're you jump out of the shower and head outside too early and you're snapping pieces of your beard off because it's so cold.
Yep.
Means that you shouldn't be outside yet, or at least cover your face up.
Right.
Reminds me.
When I lived up
wanted
there, I kept it shaved just for that reason.
I had it
wanted
happen,
to open
a
a
big
bar.
chunk.
Yeah, open a bar up in New Hampshire called the Krusty Sleeve, and my wife's like, "Why is that?" I said, "You ever walk in?" He said, "Ah, it's gross. What a great idea!"
It's genius.
Perfect.
That's
One
right.
of the
Nailed
best
it.
one of the best liquor establishment names I've ever seen in my life is a liquor store up in Salem, Massachusetts called Bunghole Liquors.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to one up you on that one. It's not liquor, but we have a drugstore here, like a pharmacy, called Butt Drugs. BUTT drugs.
Butt drugs.
Butt drugs.
I've seen that. I've seen that. I don't know where that. Yeah, how does that even come about?
Probably someone named Bud.
Yeah, it must be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The superpower of suppositories.
Well, yeah, I mean, once you drink so much, you have to start going the other direction. You know, it's like Motley Crue. Motley Crue named that.
Brian, so he says I drive by it every day. Bunghole Liquors.
There you go.
That's too funny. That cracked me up when I saw that. We got pictures of it someplace.
Yeah.
Holy
No,
crap.
it's yeah. The Yosemite area, all parts north of there are stunningly beautiful. Unfortunately, the Californians have all found it, and it's god awful expensive to buy land up there now. So it's not nice. Not nice.
Yeah. A lot of the Californians are moving into Montana. Some of them are moving into Wyoming. Really, Montana and Colorado. Billings, I guess, is like a hipster hellhole from what I hear now.
Oh yeah. Well, Montana and Colorado have always been the key
Liberal
move to destinations for Californians.
Yeah.
And this, specifically when you get up to Montana, you're talking specifically Hollywood stars, NBA players, that kind of jazz. And normal people that actually love the land can't buy land there anymore. It's just these assholes that build their giant houses, and they're there for like 3 weeks out of the year.
Yep.
So I invite all you fucks to leave
the warm part of the year, 3 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. Well, actually, summer there's decent. I mean, you get 4 months of, super.
Did you go to Wyoming for the summer? No, I had to work that weekend. I didn't make it. Wyoming's one of those states where it has snowed every month of the year, like just blizzards. That every month of the year there's been one. At some point.
We cruised over from South Dakota to see, Devil's Tower into Wyoming there. What blew my mind was the amount of deer. Like, there wasn't some deer. There were hundreds, literally herds of deer on both sides of the road. And Amber and I are driving in a Chevy Cube. I mean, I can literally reach back and touch the back windshield of this thing. I'm like, I'm going to total this car out. We're going to die. 15 deer are going to come through the windshield all at once. But it was insane. And then when we were leaving, it was starting to get dark, and these 3 massive elk come walking right out at us. It was just amazing, the nature and stuff that's in that place. But it's still too cold.
Yeah, when we lived in Wyoming one time, we lived in Casper, and at the foot of Casper Mountain, there was this nice neighborhood. And like in the evenings, we would load the kids in my truck. I had a Dodge Ram Charger on 36-inch tires, and we would drive into this neighborhood, and the deer would come off the mountain and come to your car right to your window. You could feed them. They'd come up, eat right out. So I'm in a truck on 36-inch tires, and I've got a mule deer with his head. His rack is so big he can't get it into the window. And I got this apple just barely out of his reach. And it's a great picture because he's standing flat-footed. Like, these things are huge, and they would just come out. People would be out there in the street just hand feeding them.
Yeah. Amber kept reaching out and trying to slap the rams there in South Dakota. There's these massive rams that will kill you. And she's like, "Oh, I'm going to make it my friend. I'm going to pet it." I'm like, no, that's not what you want to do. They say, And, we're driving along, and here's this big, huge ram and big balls hanging out. And she reaches out, slaps this thing in the balls. I thought for sure we were going to die right there, But I mean, I guess he was used to it. Everybody slaps him there, I guess. I don't know. He walked off. That was the end. We lived, and on for another day. So you can't take her nowhere.
I tell you what, you slap my balls, we're going to have words.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Don't do
But
it. Just don't do it. Or at least make sure you run after you do it.
The thing couldn't believe that happened.
I tell you what,
I'm
going to have to incorporate this into some of my Krav Maga instruction because, it's like really. I mean, if you open palm somebody right in the junk, I guarantee the reaction is going to be like, what just happened?
Well, no, that's not going to be the reaction. If you open palm them, you know exactly what the reaction is going to be.
I'm going to throw up all over myself. Is what's going to happen.
That depends on direction. If you come in from underneath.
I had a judo instructor, little bitty dude, and he always, I was the biggest guy in the class, so I'm the one that gets, brought up in front to demonstrate. And one day I decide I'm just going to resist as much as I possibly can. He's going to throw me, and I'm tugging against him, and he just backhands me right in my junk, like just in front of the whole class, and then throws me over, and then, I guess the moral of the story is don't resist, just go with what the instructor wants you to do, but
or don't do judo.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, hang on. We're going to run our mountain readiness shameless plug, because if you guys haven't got your tickets yet, you need to get your tickets, because it's going to be a fun time.
Hey folks, this is T, and this is Mountain Readiness.
It doesn't matter what the event is that makes this thing go pop. It's going to be water, shelter, fire, food, security. That's it. That's what you need in a nutshell.
I love that little video. That thing's awesome.
I'll tell you what's really cool is about that video is if you look at Alan Kay talking right there, he stops for just a second. Did you notice that?
Mm-hmm.
And that was me. I was telling him, I said, can't hear you. And he looked at me and this blew me off. He was like, whatever. I don't care what you say. That's what he did right there. I was like, I can't hear you. I was telling him to put the mic up. And that's when he handed the microphone off. And he was like, yeah, I'm not using that mic. Well,
T, what you may want to consider is while you were saying that, he may have disregarded you because you were giving him the bat wing. Just saying.
That could have been it.
Could have something to do with it.
I don't know. But that was the point where I interrupted his, and it was great. I mean, it was beautiful the way he laid that out. But that little pause was him looking at me in disgust. That's what that was.
He has that look. I remember the first time.
Yeah, if you look at him, that was the kiss my ass look. That's what that was.
Well, you guys got to remember, him and technology just does not blend. It's not a good. To me, it's a hilarious thing. Because he'll have some devices. He'll be like, here, make it do the thing.
Oh yeah, it was. He was not having that mic. It was not happening. It lasted about 3 seconds.
Well, are you gonna try to make it up there to Mountain Readiness, or what's your schedule look like?
I'm gonna try. I think we're gonna be in North Carolina during that time.
Cool.
My daughter and grandkids live up there, and we also have a place out in Western Carolina near Franklin. So we do a lot of traveling.
Yeah, I mean it's right there outside of Statesville. So.
Yep. I'm planning on at least one day, because Chris said I could stay in his camper and drink his whiskey, so I can do that.
Hey,
I'll bring some of that.
I guess know where the party's at.
Yeah.
I won't let him slap my balls.
Well, T's wife's going to be there too, so she's the one you got.
It's hard telling what happened. Yeah, everybody cover your nuts, cover your junk.
You're like middle school, everybody walking around with their hand covering their junk.
Yeah,
My
just
wife's like, why are you bringing your cup and your
tiptoeing
jock
along.
strap?
Holy shit. Oh. So, Walt, is there any place in particular you want to point folks to where they can follow your stuff, get the books, all the goodies? I want to make sure we
Best
get
way is
that
to
out.
go to
All the shameless plug.
waltbrowning.com. Yeah, waltbrowning.com. You can sign up for a newsletter or email. I throw those out rarely, so you're not going to get inundated, but it'll talk about if there's anything going on or, like podcasts or a new book coming out. So that's the best way to go. Best way to go. And I'm almost fully retired now, so I'll be able to put more time into these books.
You've been saying that for a few years now, man. You're selling practices and unloading buildings. But you're like, I'm still working. I'm like,
yeah, it's been good, but no, I'm officially out of owning practices. I'm an employee now, and we'll see how long that lasts. It's been good, but I'd rather be writing. I'd rather be training.
Yeah, much as I hate
Except
to
the
say
money's
it,
going in the wrong direction.
yeah, that money's definitely going in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
No, it's all
Amory,
good.
are you guys seeing any like uptick in people signing up for classes, or how's that kind of
Not
going
really.
right now?
Not really.
No?
I'm hoping that people kind of get back to that everything gets back to normal, but I don't think that's what we're looking at. Not in the near future. But
I agree.
Yeah, I've spoken with a few other instructors kind of that do what we do in this similar fashion, different people that are established, and the majority of people are experiencing this type of thing. I've personally seen an uptick in certain spaces of training, but our regular classes, no, that's people aren't training as much. I've personally, I don't know what I can attribute this to, but there's been an uptick in people wanting some private training. And law enforcement is kind of starting to get back to training a little more. But yeah, us normal people, man, we gotta go hit the range some more.
Yeah, we do. Me and Mel have been trying to get on the range, and we got one in our backyard. And one day this week, I swear to God, we're gonna go out there.
Well, I've seen a huge kickback from customer base in transportation just this past month. I literally had to close 2 large accounts just today because all of these very big, I'm not going to name the names, but multi-billion-dollar corporations in the transportation industries have pretty much so pulled back on everything of outside preventive maintenance on their equipment. They're pulling it all in-house, and it's bare minimum. So we had all that pulled back, and then I'm hearing a lot about the second run of the run on toilet paper. And sure enough, I went to the store, and man, all the big bag items like the big sacks of flour and stuff like that, they are disappearing once again. So I think people are choking back, and they're just scared of where this economy is going.
Well, yeah, that and the new now there's a university and I know there's a VA hospital that are making people mask up and do contact tracing and all this horse shit. Talking about I guess it's the Canadian variant now is the one that we're that Canadian Rona.
Yes, all of a sudden when we say Canada, it's a racial slur.
It will be before it's over for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'll tell you what bothers me. I'll tell you what bothers me. What bothers me is not the toilet paper. I got hands and I got water.
Well,
that was a joke, guys.
Okay.
No, what bothers me,
not
the shortage of all this shit. I can live with all of it. I can replace anything. You know what I can't replace? Sriracha.
Yeah.
Pepper shortage. That's pissing me off because I need my sriracha. And all the other brands.
No idea that was a thing now.
Oh yes, there's been a sriracha shortage.
Holy crap!
Yeah, I'm starting to make my own.
It's just.
But I thought it was funny that they're starting to link it a little bit that there's there's a sudden uptick. You're not seeing it anywhere. And then I saw too that someone put out I think on Twitter the other day, it was like showing where flu was in the country, and there was like no flu anywhere. They're like no flu, and they're like, so for all you people out there, say you have the summer flu, you actually have this, and it's like, well, when it happened last time, you guys didn't count flu then either. Anybody that had the flu, you said the same thing. So I don't know. It's like they're almost trying to set up to do it again or try to do it again. I just don't think that's going to go over so hot.
When is Trump supposed to be there surrendering in Atlanta? When is that? Is that Friday?
Tomorrow,
yeah. Giuliani and the lawyers did today.
What's everybody think about that? Other than the obvious, but
yeah, it's a perp walk is all it is.
Yeah, it's going to be a perp walk, and then he's going to use it to advertise himself.
Yeah. It paints him as a martyr, so he's eating it up. He's loving that, and it's legitimate because he is kind of a martyr in this sense, because what this is about is bullshit, and to them they're reinforcing their side that he's guilty by making him do this. So because that whole an image is worth 1,000 words.
Yeah, it's all about the opposite.
Whoops. Okay. Sorry.
It would be interesting if they actually stuck him in a jail cell. Some people get put in jail cells and then cameras go out and they hang themselves and all kinds of weird stuff like that. It just so happens to happen. I mean, who knows? Who knows where this is going? I thought that for a second. I was like, man, what if? How would that go down?
Yeah, not well. That wouldn't go down well at all.
Most likely, if he gets, if they give him jail time, he's going to do it at Mar-a-Lago. He's going to do it at the house. Why? Because he's that rich. Epstein got unlucky.
Yeah. Oh no, they're insisting that he's going to prison. Like they're prison. I mean,
that's what they're saying.
Gallows. They want the gallows. Is what they want.
You know what? Maybe he deserves it because when he went into office, what's the one thing that he said 1 billion times he was going to do that he never did? Put Hillary in prison.
Yeah,
and I'm still sour about that. I want to see that bitch go away.
I'm gonna agree with you on that right there. I am. But at the same time, she was too busy, doing other stuff and making cameras go off. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, he also said he was going to build the wall, and he did start doing that one.
He did start. He didn't start
selling it all off now, though. Yeah, selling it at scrap metal prices, from what I just watched on the news earlier.
It's so
good
now
grief,
like,
man.
There's certain sections of it that have like I guess like man gates, that they can open, and they leave them open to make it easier for them to get through.
Right. I'm just like, you already got billions of dollars from Ukraine and all this stuff, and now you're pocketing scrap metal money. I mean, come on, what is the world? What has the world come to? Yeah, can't even have aluminum cans anymore. I mean, can't have nothing. This guy's selling it cheap, selling it all.
You're not going to have a wood stove. You're not going to have a gas stove. You're not going to have gasoline powered engines.
Nope.
I guess they're looking for a return to the 1800s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
I mean, I'm okay with that. I'm good with that.
Yeah, bring it. Bring it,
You already got the
let's see how you live without.
You already got the 6-shooter too.
Yeah, let's see how you live, Mr. Politician or Miss Politician, without your Zoom meetings and your little bastards watching your every move, right? And all that nice frappuccino that you get every morning. Y'all are gonna die first, and we're not gonna have to do anything. You don't know how to live.
Yeah, they don't know how to live. That
Zoom thing will kill you quick. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, considering I'm still reading your books, Chris, so my mind is constantly, every time I have more than a 40-minute drive, I'll crank on a book, right? And my mind is on, if all of this happened, what you're describing in the book, if all of that happened after they went to digital currency, oh my God, then the tables would turn. That would be a wonderful, lovely situation.
Potentially.
Yeah, but I mean, there's always ugly. There's good and ugly to everything, right?
Yeah.
But if it wiped out everybody's money and the slates are all clear,
yeah,
that'd be great.
Yeah, but they'd find a way to cheat that shit.
Well,
Let's we're gonna take a quick minute to do our giveaway. These guys have all been so patiently waiting, and then we're gonna run it. Here we go. And this is random. We don't select it. Our AI overlords do it on our behalf because they are benevolent. So far. Guy gets a copy. All right, Guy. I will holler at you, buddy, and let you know when it's on its way to you. Since I know exactly how to get it. There we go. All right. Sweet.
Very cool.
Yeah, I like that little feature. That thing's cool. Well, you got anything you want to add to this stuff? You've been awful quiet, man.
Yeah, no, it's depressing, and I know that. So I'm just going to stay happy. I also worry about inflation again. They're talking about a resurgence in inflation.
We're already at real inflation is like 30% right now.
Now they're talking about worse.
I know.
They're also, historically the market always has bad times in September, October. So who knows if this is going to be bad enough to crack the egg again and really go bad. I think we get through December, it'll be a little less likely, but there you can see the grinding going against the dollar. The BRICS, people are moving away from the dollar. When you look at where the growth in population is, it's all the BRICS countries.
Oh, yeah.
Southeast Asia, South America. So we're in a slowly sinking ship, and it's just a matter of whether it busts open or we just kind of ride it down for the next 10 or 15 years and we're done. So it's gonna, I worry about my grandkids.
What do you think when Mexico decided not to enter the BRICS?
Well, they only did that because of the North American, the replacement for NAFTA. And they said as much.
They did.
AMLO said, "Hey, it's we got the people to our north that we got to take care of, and we can't join. But who are they going to contract to help them out when they start pulling all that lithium out of the mountains down there?"
Yeah, it's not going to be us.
And it's not going to be us. I can guarantee you it'll be more than likely China, just like they're doing down in the lithium triangle down in South America. So we've just been outmaneuvered, and there's not much we can do about it.
Not at this point, no.
Other than train.
Other than train.
There we go.
And it sucks. That's the world we live in.
September then, right, Walt?
I'm sorry?
I said you will be with us in September then in Montgomery County then,
right? Oh, yeah,
I'll
be there. I'll be there at least one day. I'll be there. I was up there a couple years ago with Chris, and I'll see you again in September. We're only a couple hours from my house and a couple hours from my daughter. So one way or another, I'll be out there.
Awesome.
Hell yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's a shame that we live in a world where we say shit like we all need to train and we need to do these things and stay mindful that things are fragile,
Yeah, but
it's
you know what?
That little bit of anxiety that's kind of always there. There's nothing I can do to fix it today, but it's there and I need to pay attention, sort of a thing,
But you know what, Chris? I agree with you. It is sad that we're in this state on one hand. The other hand is we have to, I believe, and this isn't just a business pitch for me to get more students. This is why I got into this to begin with, is we're the only constitutional republic in the world that has the base elements of, hey, it's about the people, right? And we have the Second Amendment that we have to protect. And one of the ways to protect it is to train, not because we're training to take over the government or anything silly like that, but because, these tools come with a lot of responsibility. And, all the rednecks, and I love rednecks, but all the rednecks that come up to me and they're like, "Well, my grandpappy taught me how to shoot bottles in the back." All right, cool. But why don't you actually learn the tool, right? Just because you know how to push a gas pedal doesn't make you know how to drive. So I think it's a big responsibility. Anything we can do, right? You got to train and you got to stay current. And if that's driving, if that's flying, if it's, running a welder, it doesn't matter. Right? You
Doesn't matter.
I tell people, like, gunfighting, gunplay, that kind of stuff. That's a martial art, just like any other martial art. That's a martial art, and like all martial arts or athletic skill like that, they atrophy over time. So if you don't exercise it, it goes away. And so you got to do it. You got to go out and do it. And it's, a lot of people act like it's the greatest, coolest thing in the world. And like I tell, I'm not a huge fan of training anymore. I'm fucking 50 years old. I'm over that shit. But I still go do it, and it sucks. But I still go out there and do it. And it's fun to hang out with the guys, have a great time and all that. But you're out there smoking your ass if you're doing it right. You're breathing hard. You're not having a good time. If you're having fun at training, you're probably not doing it right.
Training wrong.
Yeah, no. I've been
not harder.
Harder, not harder.
I've been slacking. I've got a range here at the house, and so I try to shoot at least once a week and do something. And then I've got the Hell Hill here behind the house. That's a mile circle that I say I run, but really it's a very slow crawl with a lot of panting and dry heaving. But
that's you get to a tree.
Right. You get to a tree, you catch your breath, you swallow a little vomit, you move on. On that note, I was thinking the other day, I was sitting here in one of my deep pondering thoughts, my speaking to my inner self, and I was kind of I was disappointed in myself because making excuses. I've wanted to take a tactical rifleman class for years. I've been watching tactical rifleman for years now. And it was just excuses. It was always, I'm too busy. I don't have the money. I can't do it. I got to go here. I got to do that. I got to buy this. And the other side of this is I was thinking back to my younger days of when I didn't have much money. Back in my days of smoking, I would go to the gas pump. And you would have to think, okay, do I have enough money to buy a pack of cigarettes and get a pack and get $5 worth of gas? That time in my life, I was lean and tough, and the word was hungry. And I was thinking, I was like, it's not good to starve, but you should always be hungry. And I've just not been hungry for these past couple years. I haven't. I've been well fed. The light switch turns on and off. The AC's kicking. I got my nice little bar back here, and I said, no, I've got to do something different. I've got to get back to that point of being hungry, and that comes down to pushing yourself and training and doing all those things that are maybe not that fun, but are necessary.
Yeah.
Well, those are all really good points. And I think what it comes down to is the most important skill, whether it's like survival or fighting or whatever skill in this kind of realm that we might discuss, the most important skill is knowing how to suffer, right? Knowing how to suffer by far supersedes any other mechanical skill, because I don't care if you got all the nicest outdoor research gear and blah, blah, blah. You're not going to survive a night in the woods if you don't go out and the suck, at least on occasion. Right.
Yeah.
So
knowing my daughter's growing up, I said, there's a big difference between being uncomfortable and dead. I said, you can be miserable. It just means you're alive. I said, and there's going to be times in life where things are going to be seriously uncomfortable, and you got to learn to deal with that, And there is a whole lot of embrace the suck, I talk a lot about stoicism because I firmly believe in that, controllable. Don't worry about the rest of it. It's really not my problem. So if I'm stuck somewhere and it's just, like you said, it's just, Baskin Robbins 37 flavors of fuck you right now. I'm gonna control what I can control, make it as good as I can, and then once I've done that, I'm just, this is my new reality, and we're gonna be real unhappy for a little while.
And on that note, Emory, in September, I'm gonna run that last day. I'm gonna run with you with each person too, as long as there's no more than 2 students. If we have 3, then I'm out. But 2, I'm good.
Day. I think the class where we do this that you're referring to has at least 10 or 12 people. So you've already made the handshake.
So
and
just go ahead. Yeah, no, we're done.
No, you're running. You're running right alongside.
Look at the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at the time.
No, what T's
you're gonna be sore, T. You're gonna I think because I know what you're doing now.
I asked for it. I stick my foot in my mouth all the time.
I'm gonna say that get our mouth over in that bunny rabbit ass.
These classes are not terribly physical.
No.
Right? I mean, you're out there shooting all day long, sun or rain, whatever. And Carl's gonna do his rain dance. He will, because I'll ask him to.
Awesome.
But what T's referring to is at the end of combat pistol carbine, which is a 2-day class. So it's the 3rd day of these classes. We do like a little manly exercise at the end. It's really not that bad. If you compare it to anything you do in the military, it's not a thing, but we set up a cute little course and you run and gun and, and it's kind of one person at a time, but it's everybody competing against each other for the best time and best hits. Yeah. And dipshit over here has to literally run that course with every single student. And sometimes we do dry. We're like, hey, just don't trust you yet. So let's do a dry or 2. And so I run it with every single student, and that's what T is referring to. So T, you have already made a statement. You cannot walk back, and you're going to run every single one right alongside with me.
All you
have to hope is that there's a lot of old people that don't like to run in the class, because sometimes
so the night before, Emery is walking to his car and someone bites him in the ankle from underneath in the middle of the parking lot. Oh my gosh, my ankle,
bites him in the ankle.
Oh, bummer. Okay. Well, I'll walk it. I'll walk it with you.
Well, if I can't run and Carl can't run because he's after his knee surgery, what that leaves you with is Carl and I making you dance. Are you familiar with that term?
Is this a reference to shooting at my feet?
That is exactly what that means.
I've been known to cut some rugs, so moonwalk across the parking lot there. I guess we'll give it a shot. No pun intended.
Carl, he's hilarious. We were in a class one time, and this dude's alarm goes off on his car, and it's parked like right there. And Carl's just kind of stops, and he's looking around. He's like, "Anybody want to stop it? You want to stop it? You got to stop it." Finally, and the guy's got his keys out. He can't get it. And Carl draws his pistol. He's like, "You stop her. I'm going to stop it."
Yeah, and the guy whose alarm that is, we have a nickname for him. His name is Deaf Cop, because he is a cop who's deaf. So he fits right in with us.
So he didn't even realize that it was going off.
I don't know, but
this cat's special. He's special.
He's special. He's a good kid. This we just had this same guy in a different class of ours a couple of months ago, and it was high risk travel, which is a great class, and not shooting a single round in the whole class. It's not what it's about. But they did get out of duct tape and some escapology stuff and handcuffs. Well, I went to shake his hand as I was giving him the certificate at the end. He worked his ass off so hard trying to get out of that tape. He had a blood spot like this all on the back of his wrist. And as I went to shake his hand, these 2 fingers went like half an inch deep into this just mushy crap and just tore off the whole, everything that started actually congealing. It was great.
Congealing. Just the word congealing in itself made it sound even twice as nasty. Congealing.
Nasty. As it congealed.
I mean, that's like getting slapped in the nuts right there.
From the bottom.
From the bottom, underneath. Yeah.
Well, guys,
don't forget it was like in the car window. Anyway, go. Yeah. Enough about balls. Don't forget. Let's talk about balls.
We'll save that for on the rocks, which is where we're going to go now. So you Patreon guys go over to Rumble and catch that. Walt, brother, thanks for being here tonight. This got a little out of hand.
My pleasure.
We sure covered the bases this evening, I think. I can't stop thinking about Emery slapping a Ram's nuts, though.
For sure.
Can't stop thinking about that.
It was a pleasure, Walt. Please come hang again.
Yes, for sure.
I shall.
And I
Don't
will
make your will
start watching.
to
I will
your brain
start your books. And I will start your books, Walt, in 15 years once I finish Chris's. That's next on my agenda.
I'll make sure to wear my cup next time I see you guys.
Awesome.
We'll catch you guys later. Y'all be good. Or be good at it.
Peace.